absolutely not. I mean, everything I said is correct. It's how the American people feel. It's what we know to be a fact. It's all the evidence.
Just because you say so, huh?
True. We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon. He is a convicted well, yeah, so is George Floyd. And everybody, and you all too, the media worship George Floyd. Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd. And Raskin is in there saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you, and this is really important. I don't worship, I worship God. God.
Since when was justice about how people feel? And what is a fact? If she's saying whatever is a fact because people feel it is, that's nonsense. What evidence? MAGA never backs anything up, never explains, never gives examples or reasons. So what has been proven? Why is evidence required if justice is only dependent on how you people feel? Ben from the Midas Touch has shown clips of Marge creepily fondling the crotch area of a fucking cardboard cutout of Donald. So she obviously does worship Donald. Or is she only aroused by him? Maybe that's it then. She's only in love with Donald. Poor Brian. Poor Donald also though, because an ugly, primitive-looking woman with a chubby physique and masculine-looking body wants to fuck him. As for George, have people ever done a riot over him personally? That was civil unrest, but only because of fatal injustice against him. As for the riots done over George, that was probably Republicans or MAGA people posing as Democrats. Even if the rioters were Democrats, that doesn't mean worship. Or I guess outrage equals worship, according to Marge. Oh yeah.
And Jesus is my savior. I don't worship President Trump. And I'm really sick and tired of the bullshit annex I have to deal with constantly from the Democrats. So that's what we just went through in there.
Oh, poor Margie. People were throwing stones back at her.
What's his face in there? Whoever was talking last was calling me insane. But yet we can't say, oh, they're attacking my character. Oh no, it's non-stop BS and annex. You want to know why?
Okay, 1. What does God have to do with politics? 2. How is God worship any better than her emotional attachment to Donald? How is God worship politically sound? She's giving this psychotic speech after all, and she's always been unstable. 3. Where is God mentioned in the Constitution? How does God worship affect her congressional mindset, where she's empowered over people? Jesus being a savior, which I would say is only a problem God himself caused, is a personal matter, if it was true, and neither a social or political matter. Aside from being unconstitutional speech here, there would never be problems and Donald would be safe if Jesus was their savior. Donald is facing a severe injustice? Well, she invoked God in this context. Nobody cares that Marge is upset about the Democrats' antics, as she says here. The Democrats could say the same about any MAGA person, and those MAGA people would only get angry, like Marge is here, and talk shit on the internet, spread lies, slander, propaganda, fallacies, insults, name-calling, the whole 9 fucking yards of ideological insanity from this psychotic, pathologically lying, disingenuous movement. The Democrats could complain of the GOP and MAGA's constant bullshit and willful ignorance, and they would all call them snowflakes, while they cry about anything negative thrown at Donald. She's allowed to rail against Joe, being the ringleader of MAGA, and her supporters are all allowed to start whatever shit they do, but the Democrats are on witch hunt whenever they utter a word about Donald or God. Joe is guilty of everything while Donald is a perfect and innocent angel, while Marge and many others believe Donald is still president, which doesn't make sense for them to promote Trump 2024. It's only 2 terms in America, which Donald didn't change, as I'm sure he would attempt to if he does get reelected. So maybe stop whining like a fucking snowflake, you deranged fucking bitch. Would she grow up the crotch of Jesus on a cutout?
The Democrats don't have anything. They're responsible for the lockdowns, forced vaccinations, kids.
And what have you done about that if all that's true?
People committing suicide, and all the horrors that this country lived through during COVID. Fauci belongs in prison. He should be tried for mass murder, and he should be tried for crimes against humanity. That's
Poor
how I
Margie
feel
is
after that
snowflaking
hearing.
about
That's how
Dr.
the American
Fauci.
people feel.
So Marge is allowed to bully, but nobody is allowed to bash her in any way? How is that fair? Why does she care? Why does she even care if she's saved? She's never guilty of anything? If she doesn't like it, maybe fucking resign. She's been in Congress and America remains the same as when she arrived, so it's not like her presence has accomplished anything she or MAGA wants. She certainly otherwise wouldn't be giving this psychotic and angry outburst for the world to see and hear. So, her idea is to let everyone get infected and spread it around? She hasn't proven it doesn't exist. I guess she believes it's a hoax. Nobody is supposed to help keep the hospital free for patients with other medical ailments? I mean, what the fuck is that? I'll add that all this outrage about problems she caused herself or herself, while also invoking God in the context of politics, I guess she doesn't care about the puppy Christie killed recently. She also uses kids to argue certain conservative fabricated problems, but she never mentions the kids in a Texas school who were shot up, while the cops just stood around. As for Dr. Fauci, Democrats could say Marge also belongs in prison, while she's pissed about Donald. She would start ranting about that also. Why is she allowed to baselessly accuse and declare imprisonment, but nobody else is? Is Marge completely innocent? Is she fit for politics? No. Nobody cares how you feel, Marge. Fuck off, bleached blonde, bad-built butch body. You miserable and psychotic drag queen looking slut. Just fuck off.